Hi, everybody. This is Steve Maggi from SMA Law Firm. Welcome to Building the Bridge. My guest today is Yogi Patel, managing partner of Lloyd Patel LLP in New York City. They're employment and business attorneys, and I've had a great experience working with Yogi over the years. And one of the things I think is most important, Yogi, is empathy, being able to understand where your clients are coming from, what their perspective is, in order to help them the best way possible. So can you tell us a little bit about your background and the importance of empathy?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Steve, and thanks so much for asking it. Uh, Personally, I didn't get my green card until I was done with law school when I was 26 years old, and I was a typical dreamer. Went through my teens and my early 20s here in the United States, not knowing whether or not I'd be able to actually live here and work here. I kept saying to myself, I'm going through all this education. God knows if I ever even be able to practice law in the United States. And it was extremely unsettling, to have that type of uncertainty, as far as what your future was going to be like. And this was my home. I moved here when I was 12 years old, from Kenya, and I moved here, came here on a visitor's visa, and eventually got on a student visa when I was probably about 17, 18 years old, and I stayed on a student visa until I was 26, before I got my green card. And the difficulty of putting yourself through school, trying to figure out how you're going to pay for your education when you don't, at the time, you weren't able to qualify for any type of financial aid or work legally, as far as finding gainful employment, given the fact that you weren't in a status that allowed you to do so. um, Pose significant challenges, as far as how I was able to kind of put myself through school, and always with the fear of potentially, being deported, right? If
Yeah,
discovered that you were working, unlawfully. And of course, every time you hear of different programs and different governmental actions being taken, you're hypersensitive to those, because you're somehow either waiting for a path towards being recognized and normalized and humanized,
that
versus
humanized. Yeah,
castigated and made to feel like the other and you don't belong.
right.
And for me, it's, I actually wanted to become an immigration attorney, Steve. I just couldn't find anybody to hire me right out of law school to train me. And therefore I ended up doing the type of work I do. But
Well,
my
I'm
heart,
happy you do what you do and I do what I do, since we complement each other so well. How important is your experience personally in being able to work with foreign national clients?
I mean, understanding sort of, how sensitive they are, and how how much on the fringe they are, meaning all they're looking for some level of stability, they're looking for some level of continuity, a level of, to be able to kind of think through and say, I could build a life here without disruption. And how important it is to have that and not to worry about all the legal issues that come up if things are not done the right way, and what it means to uproot your family, and the impact that could have on your dreams, and your future. And so for me, um, making sure that the advice that we're providing our clients is, the best competent advice. I mean, we're being truthful and honest with them about their outcomes and the possibility of their objectives and goals, and not misleading them, and not selling them a house of cards that's not built on on the truth and the
Right.
law, quite frankly. They should be able to trust us. They should be able to trust our advice. And from my point of view, if we don't have that, we have nothing, as far as our credibility goes.
Yeah, my experience has been the same, and sometimes it's giving people the bad news, but them knowing exactly where they stand is very much appreciated versus selling them something that you cannot deliver on. And that might jeopardize their future status too, is very dangerous to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and for joining us on Building the Bridge, Yogi.
I really appreciate you, Steve, having me on this. Thank you so much.